B&B spoilers. Dylan's diabolical revenge scheme. Steffy and Electra are in trouble. The bold and the beautiful viewers have been speculating for weeks now that Dylan is actually an imposter. Bradley Bell insists that Luna Nozawa is really dead this time and she's not wearing a mask and pretending to be a homeless art teacher. If Dylan isn't Luna on B&B, then why is she acting so much like her? There's something off with the homeless art teacher that Electra Forrester, Linnea Grace, and Will Spencer Jr., Crew Morrow, moved into the guest room. There's no doubt about that. Even Steffy Forrester, Jacqueline McInnes Wood, is being played like a fiddle and invited their new roomie to be her kid's nanny. What does Dylan want from the Forresters? In a matter of a few short weeks, Dylan has talked her way into Steffy and Electra's houses. She gained both Forrester Queen's trust in just a few days, because anyone who killed Luna Nozawa, Lisa Yamada, is a friend of theirs. You have to admit it's odd that Dylan seems to have the same targets as Luna, but maybe it's just a coincidence. The Forrester family has wronged quite a few people over the years on Bold and Beautiful. Since Hayes' art teacher arrived on Bold and Beautiful, she hasn't had a last name. Bradley Bell confirmed in an interview a few days ago that Sydney Bullock has been put on contract as Dylan. The character debuted 6 months ago on the soap opera and still hasn't been given a last name, which has never happened on the daytime show. What's Dylan's last name? According to B&B spoilers, TPB are keeping a tight lid on Dylan's last name because she is related to someone else. Is Dylan on her own revenge mission because of something the Forresters did to one of her parents or family members? Is that why Luna and Dylan seem so alike? Today's very sad news out of the Bold and the Beautiful has left fans shaken, emotional, and bracing for one of the darkest chapters the soap has teased in a long time. What began as quiet tension and half-buried resentment is now exploding into a full-scale revenge plot. And at the center of it all is Dylan, a man pushed past his breaking point, now ready to make Steffy Forrester and Electra pay a devastating price. This isn't just another rivalry. This is personal. And if spoilers are even half true, the fallout will be brutal, heartbreaking, and irreversible. Dylan's breaking point, from silent suffering to dangerous resolve. For weeks, viewers have sensed something was off with Dylan. His smiles felt forced. His silences stretched too long. His eyes carried a bitterness he tried and failed to hide. While others dismissed him as brooding or misunderstood, the truth was far more tragic. Dylan feels used, discarded, and erased. In his mind, Steffy and Electra didn't just hurt him, they destroyed his future. Sources tease that Dylan believes he sacrificed everything for loyalty, only to be repaid with betrayal. Promises were made behind closed doors. Trust was demanded. And when the dust settled, Dylan was the one left standing alone, watching others thrive on the ruins of his devotion. That kind of pain doesn't fade quietly. It festers. And now it's turning dangerous. A revenge scheme years in the making. B&B spoilers reveal that Dylan's revenge isn't impulsive. It's calculated, cold, and meticulously planned. This is not a man lashing out in anger. This is someone who has replayed every slight, every lie, every humiliation, over and over until revenge felt like the only path to peace. What makes this especially chilling is how patient Dylan has been. He didn't confront. He didn't accuse. He waited. Behind the scenes, Dylan has allegedly been gathering information, exploiting weak points, and quietly positioning himself where Steffy and Electra least expect it. He knows their secrets. He understands their fears. And worst of all, he knows how to hurt them without ever raising his voice. Steffy Forrester, a target who never saw it coming. Steffy has survived countless storms, family feuds, romantic betrayals, corporate wars. But this threat is different. Dylan isn't coming at her head-on. He's going after the things she holds sacred, her family, her legacy, and her sense of control. Spoilers suggest Steffy may soon realize that decisions she made long ago are circling back with vicious consequences. A move she thought was necessary, a line she believed she had to cross. At the time, she justified it as survival. Dylan sees it as unforgivable. What's especially heartbreaking is that Steffy may sense danger too late. By the time she realizes Dylan isn't just angry, but out for blood, the damage may already be in motion, setting off a chain reaction she can't stop. Electra's nightmare, trapped in Dylan's web. If Steffy is a strategic target, Electra is the emotional one. Spoilers hint that Electra's involvement with Dylan goes deeper than viewers realize. There are unresolved feelings, buried guilt, and moments she wishes she could erase. Dylan knows this, and he's weaponizing it. Electra's trust may become her downfall. Sources tease that Dylan could manipulate Electra into making choices that seem harmless at first, until they spiral into disaster. One wrong signature, one misplaced confidence, one secret shared at the wrong time. And suddenly, Electra may find herself complicit in a nightmare she never intended to create. The tragedy? Electra never wanted to hurt Dylan, but in his eyes her silence and inaction were just as cruel as betrayal. The emotional toll. Why this storyline feels so heavy. What makes this storyline especially sad is that no one is truly innocent and no one truly wins. Dylan isn't a cartoon villain. He's a broken man who believes revenge is justice. Steffy isn't heartless. She made choices under pressure. Electra isn't malicious. She was scared, conflicted, and overwhelmed. And yet, the consequences are about to be devastating. Viewers should prepare for emotional confrontations that cut deep, long-buried secrets exposed at the worst possible time, relationships shattered beyond repair, a sense that something precious has been lost forever. This is the kind of arc that leaves characters and fans changed at a dangerous game of control and power. B&B spoilers strongly suggest Dylan's endgame isn't just revenge, it's control. He wants Steffy and Electra to feel what he felt. Helpless, cornered, betrayed, by orchestrating situations where they are forced to react rather than lead. Dylan flips the power dynamic entirely. The women who once held all the cards may soon find themselves desperately scrambling, unsure who to trust or where the next blow will land. And the scariest part? Dylan may be willing to destroy himself if it means destroying them too. Will someone stop him before it's too late? As this diabolical scheme unfolds, one question looms large. Can Dylan be stopped? There are whispers that someone close to him may notice the cracks, an unusual comment, a chilling look, a plan that doesn't add up. But recognizing danger and stopping it are two very different things. Once Dylan sets his final phase into motion, spoilers suggest events may move too fast for anyone to intervene. By the time Steffy and Electra understand the full scope of what they're facing, the damage could already be irreversible. Fans react. Shock, fear, and heartbreak. Early fan reactions to these spoilers have been intense. Many viewers are torn, sympathetic to Dylan's pain, yet terrified by what he's capable of becoming. Others fear Steffy and Electra are about to face one of the most punishing arcs in recent dangerous game of control and power. B&B spoilers strongly suggest Dylan's endgame isn't just revenge, it's control. He wants Steffy and Electra to feel what he felt. Helpless, cornered, betrayed, by orchestrating situations where they are forced to react rather than lead. Dylan flips the power dynamic entirely. The women who once held all the cards may soon find themselves desperately scrambling, unsure who to trust or where the next blow will land. And the scariest part? Dylan may be willing to destroy himself if it means destroying them too. Will someone stop him before it's too late? As this diabolical scheme unfolds, one question looms large. Can Dylan be stopped? There are whispers that someone close to him may notice the cracks, an unusual comment, a chilling look, a plan that doesn't add up. But recognizing danger and stopping it are two very different things. Once Dylan sets his final phase into motion, spoilers suggest events may move too fast for anyone to intervene. By the time Steffy and Electra understand the full scope of what they're facing, the damage could already be irreversible. Fans react. Shock, fear, and heartbreak. Early fan reactions to these spoilers have been intense. Many viewers are torn, sympathetic to Dylan's pain, yet terrified by what he's capable of becoming. Others fear Steffy and Electra are about to face one of the most punishing arcs in recent B&B history. One thing is clear. This storyline isn't about quick drama or easy redemption. It's about consequences, and they're coming fast. Final thoughts. A very sad turning point for B&B. Today's very sad news marks a turning point for the bold and the beautiful. Dylan's diabolical revenge scheme isn't just another plot twist. It's a slow-burning tragedy fueled by unresolved pain, broken trust, and the dangerous belief that revenge heals wounds. As Steffy and Electra stand unknowingly on the edge of disaster, viewers are left holding their breath, hoping, perhaps foolishly, that something or someone can stop the inevitable. But soaps have taught us one painful lesson over and over again. Sometimes the warning signs come too late. Sometimes love isn't enough. And sometimes revenge wins, at least for a while. Stay tuned, because the storm heading towards Steffy and Electra may be the most devastating one B&B has delivered in years. Broken Heart the sun sets over the Pacific, casting long, ominous shadows across the Forrester and Spencer estates. But the golden hour brings no peace to Los Angeles. Today, the bold and the beautiful delivers a heart-wrenching blow to fans as a very sad news bulletin ripples through the community. The latest spoilers for January 2026 reveal a landscape of betrayal, fear, and a diabolical revenge scheme that threatens to dismantle the lives of Steffy Forrester and the newcomer, Electra Forrester. As the dust settles on the Luna Nozawa tragedy, a new darkness has emerged in the form of Dylan. What started as a gesture of kindness from Spencer and Electra has spiraled into a nightmare that no one saw coming. The guest from hell, Dylan's mask slips. For weeks, viewers watched as Will Spencer, Crew Morrow, and Electra Forrester, Linnea Grace, opened their hearts and their home to Dylan, Sydney Bullock. Finding her living out of her car, the young couple offered her the guest house, believing they were helping a friend in need. But as the old saying goes, no good deed goes unpunished. Dylan is no longer the grateful, down-on-her-luck art teacher. The very sad news today confirms that Dylan has been harboring a deep-seated resentment, a diabolical plan born from the trauma of the past. Spoilers indicate that Dylan isn't just looking for a roof over her head. She is looking to replace Electra entirely. A dangerous obsession. Dylan's behavior has crossed the line from quirky to predatory. While Electra has been busy trying to build her jewelry line at Forrester Creations, Dylan has been marking her territory at the beach house. The shower scene. Fans were chilled to the bone seeing Dylan watch Will in the outdoor shower with a predatory gaze. The manipulation. Dylan has begun driving a wedge between Will and Electra, subtly gaslighting Electra into appearing insecure or controlling whenever she questions Dylan's long stay. But the real sad news is the depth of Dylan's deception. She isn't just a squatter. She is a woman with nothing to lose, and she has set her sights on the Spencer fortune and Will's heart. Steffy Forrester, blindsided and in danger. While the younger generation deals with the snake in their garden, Steffy Forrester, Jacqueline McInnes Wood, is facing a crisis of her own that has left her blindsided. Steffy has always been the rock of the Forrester family, but even the strongest foundations can crack. The Taylor and Deacon factor. The core of Steffy's current distress is her mother, Taylor Hayes. Steffy recently walked in on a moment that shattered her sense of security. Taylor and Deacon Sharp in a compromising, romantic clinch. For Steffy, this is more than just a forbidden romance. It is a death sentence. Deacon is married to Sheila Carter, the woman who shot Steffy and Finn and has haunted their lives for years. Steffy knows that if Sheila finds out about Taylor and Deacon's connection, the bloodbath will begin anew. The revenge scheme hits home. How does Dylan's scheme tie into Steffy? Spoilers suggest that Dylan's diabolical revenge isn't just about Will. It's about the entire Forrester/Spencer lineage. There are whispers that Dylan's past is more intertwined with the Forresters than she's letting on. Could she be working with an old enemy? Or is she a lone wolf looking to burn down the house that Eric built? Steffy is currently in trouble because she is distracted. By focusing all her energy on stopping Taylor from seeing Deacon, she is blind to the predator living in her cousin's beach house. This lapse in judgment might be the opening Dylan needs to strike at the heart of the family. Electra Forrester's world shatters. Poor Electra. She came to Los Angeles with dreams of jewelry designs and a fresh start with Will. Instead, she has invited her own destruction into her home. The very sad news regarding Electra involves a shocking confession. We already know Dylan was the one who accidentally ran over Luna. Electra, in her infinite and perhaps naive mercy, agreed to keep that secret. Now that secret is a noose around her neck. Dylan is using that shared trauma to blackmail Electra. The revenge scheme involves Dylan slowly taking over Electra's life, her clothes, her job opportunities, and eventually her man. Spoilers suggest a harrowing confrontation is coming where Electra realizes that the woman she called a friend is actually a master manipulator who wants to see her erased. The rivalry ignites. Spencers versus Forresters. Adding to the high-stakes drama is the corporate war. Katie Logan has officially launched her own fashion house, Logan, much to the fury of Ridge and Brooke. Character current allegiance major conflict Steffy Forrester creations protecting Taylor from Sheila/Deacon Electra Forrester jewelry. Surviving Dylan's psychological warfare Will Spencer publications caught between his love for Electra and pity for Dylan Katie Logan designs proving her independence from Ridge. This corporate tension is providing the perfect smokescreen for Dylan. While the adults are arguing over trademarks and Logan brand names, the real threat is lurking in the guest house with a plan that could end in tragedy. Why today's news is very sad news swirling through the bold and the beautiful fandom isn't about a single shocking moment. It's about a question that's growing darker by the day. What does Dylan really want from the Forrester family? At first, Dylan's presence felt like a slow burn. Mysterious, restrained, almost careful. But as the layers peel back, what's emerging is a deeply emotional, unsettling story, one rooted in pain, abandonment, and a hunger for justice that may soon cross into revenge. And if the latest clues are pointing us in the right direction, the Forresters are standing at the edge of a devastating storm they never saw coming. This isn't just another villain arc. This is personal, and that's what makes today's developments so heartbreaking. A quiet arrival with loud intentions. Dylan didn't arrive in Los Angeles with fireworks or threats. There were no immediate confrontations, no dramatic ultimatums. Instead, Dylan blended into the background, watching, listening, learning. That alone should have raised red flags. On B&B, characters who arrive quietly often carry the heaviest emotional baggage. Dylan's subtle interest in Forrester creations, the family legacy, and the inner workings of the Forrester dynasty was never random. Every question Dylan asked, every interaction with a Forrester, felt measured, like pieces of a long-planned puzzle being placed carefully into position. Now, that puzzle is beginning to take shape, and the picture it forms is tragic. A past tied to Forrester's secrets? The most painful possibility gaining traction is that Dylan's life was irreversibly damaged by a past Forrester decision, one that the family may barely remember, or worse, chose to bury. Was Dylan's parent pushed out of the company unfairly? Was there a cover-up that protected the Forresters while destroying someone else's future? Or is Dylan connected to an old scandal involving power, betrayal, or stolen credit? What makes this so sad is that the bold and the beautiful has a long history of the Forresters surviving storms by closing ranks, often at the expense of outsiders. If Dylan is the child of someone who lost everything because of Forrester ambition, then this isn't just revenge. It's the cry of someone who grew up watching their family fall apart while the Forresters thrived. And that kind of pain doesn't fade. It festers. Not just money, it's about recognition. Here's where the story takes an even more emotional turn. Dylan doesn't seem motivated by money alone. If this were about wealth, Dylan could have played the system faster, harder, louder. Instead, the focus appears to be on legacy, on truth, on forcing the Forresters to look at something they've avoided for years. There's a deep sadness in that, because it suggests Dylan wants acknowledgement more than riches, an admission that something was taken, someone was wronged, and a life was altered forever. For a family that prides itself on creativity, fashion, and beauty, being forced to confront an ugly truth from the past could be devastating. And Dylan may believe that emotional reckoning is the only justice left. A personal fixation on Steffy? One of the most unsettling aspects of Dylan's arc is the growing tension around Steffy Forrester. Whether through business clashes, lingering stares, or emotionally loaded conversations, Dylan's attention towards Steffy feels deliberate and dangerous. Steffy represents everything Dylan may resent. Power passed down through generations. Privilege built on old decisions. A future protected by the Forrester name. If Dylan believes Steffy is benefiting from a legacy built on someone else's suffering, then targeting her emotionally or professionally becomes symbolic. And that's where things turn truly sad, because Steffy may be paying the price for sins she never committed. This kind of storyline doesn't just hurt its target. It destroys everyone caught in the middle. Is this about family or blood? Another heartbreaking theory gaining momentum is that Dylan may actually be connected to the Forresters by blood. An abandoned child, a secret sibling, a hidden branch of the family tree deliberately cut off to protect reputations. If Dylan is the product of a Forrester secret, one involving shame, betrayal, or fear, then this entire arc becomes a tragedy of identity. Imagine growing up knowing you were unwanted, erased, while your biological family built an empire in the spotlight. If that's the truth, Dylan's question isn't, "What do I want from the Forresters?" It's, "Why was I never enough to be one of you?" And that question cuts deeper than any revenge plot ever could. Forrester Creations, the ultimate target? All signs suggest that Forrester Creations itself may be Dylan's ultimate objective. Not to run it, not to destroy it outright, but to expose what lies beneath its polished image. Dylan's moves feel surgical, designed to destabilize trust, ignite internal conflict, and force long-buried truths into the open. If Dylan can fracture the family from within, the emotional damage would be far greater than any financial loss. And that's what makes this so sad, because Forrester Creations isn't just a business. It's the emotional backbone of the family. Attacking it means attacking their shared history, their pride, and their sense of identity. A villain or a broken soul. What's truly heartbreaking about today's very sad news is that Dylan doesn't fit neatly into the role of a villain. There's grief there. There's anger, yes, but also longing. A need to be seen, to be heard, to be validated. If Dylan wanted chaos alone, the damage would already be done. Instead, there's hesitation, conflict, moments where it feels like Dylan is battling an internal voice asking, if they finally tell the truth, will it be enough? That internal struggle is what makes this story so emotionally heavy and so dangerous. The fallout is inevitable. No matter what Dylan truly wants, one thing is heartbreakingly clear. The Forresters are heading toward a reckoning they cannot avoid. Secrets never stay buried on the bold and the beautiful. When they surface, they explode, taking relationships, marriages, and entire families down with them. Steffy could lose trust in those closest to her. Ridge may be forced to confront a past mistake he believed was long forgotten. Brooke, as always, may be caught between truth and loyalty. And Dylan? Dylan may discover that revenge, once unleashed, cannot be controlled, and may not heal the wounds that started it all. Today's very sad truth. So, what does Dylan want from the Forresters? Not just money, not just power, not even destruction. Dylan wants acknowledgement of pain that was ignored, a truth that was buried, and justice for a life shaped by someone else's ambition. Whether that justice comes through exposure, revenge, or reconciliation remains to be seen. But one thing is certain. When Dylan's full story comes out, it won't just shock the Forresters, it will break hearts. Because the saddest stories on The Bold and the Beautiful aren't about villains winning or losing. They're about people who were never given a chance, and what happens when they finally demand one. The halls of Forrester Creations are no stranger to scandal. But the latest, today very sad news surrounding Dylan, Sydney Bullock, has viewers gripped with a mixture of pity and growing dread. What started as a tragic accident has spiraled into a complex web of homelessness, hidden agendas, and a potentially dark obsession that could tear the next generation of Forresters and Spencers apart. As we navigate the fallout of the new year, the question on every fan's mind remains, what does Dylan really want from the Forresters? The heartbreaking truth, from teacher to outcast. The sad news hitting the headlines today centers on the revelation of Dylan's desperate circumstances. Once known only as Hayes' beloved preschool teacher, Dylan's life took a sharp, tragic turn when she accidentally ran over Luna Nozawa. While the police cleared her of criminal intent, the psychological and financial toll has been devastating. The latest episodes have revealed a gut-wrenching reality. Dylan is homeless. Asterisk living in her car. Well, Spencer discovered that Dylan has been living out of her vehicle, parked blocks away from the beach house to avoid detection. Financial ruin. Between the trauma of the accident and the loss of her stability, Dylan has been struggling in silence, a far cry from the Ms. Sunshine persona she once wore. Isolation. With her family miles away in the Midwest, she has no safety net, making the Forresters' world her only lifeline. What does Dylan want? 3 theories on her true intentions. While the initial news is heartbreaking, seasoned Bold and the Beautiful fans know that innocent newcomers often harbor complex motives. There are 3 primary theories currently circulating about what Dylan is actually after. 1. A new life and a new last name. The most sympathetic theory is that Dylan simply wants a family. Having been forgiven by Finn and welcomed into the beach house by Will and Electra, she may be seeking the security she never had. However, seeking security in Los Angeles often translates to marrying into a dynasty. 2. An obsession with Finn. The most chilling, sad news for Steffy fans is the hint that Dylan's gratitude toward Finn is morphing into something dangerous. Finn told her she wasn't a bad person even after she killed his daughter. That kind of validation can be a powerful and addictive drug for someone who has lost everything. Spoilers suggest that Dylan may be more fixated on the man who forgave her than the young couple who took her in. Her gaze during the recent beach house gathering wasn't just appreciative, it was hungry. 3. A hidden legacy connection. Rumors are swirling that Dylan isn't just a random teacher. Speculation on social media suggests she could be tied to a legacy villain. Is she the long-lost daughter of Sheila Carter or Massimo Marone? If so, her accidental arrival in the Forresters' lives might be a calculated move for revenge or claim to the Forrester/Spencer fortune. The tensions rise. 3's a crowd at the beach house, while Will and Electra believe they are doing a good deed by letting Dylan stay in their guest room. The sad news is that this kindness is already backfiring. Character current stance on Dylan potential risk. Will, Spencer protective and sympathetic, views her as a victim of circumstance, could be manipulated into an emotional affair. Electra, Forrester wary and suspicious, has already told Dylan not to misinterpret Will's kindness, faces a victim versus jealous girlfriend narrative. Steffy and Finn grateful for her honesty, currently oblivious to her potential. Dark side. Their marriage could be the ultimate target. The sad news for Electra. A face-off is looming. The high engagement around this story stems from the looming conflict between Dylan and Electra. In the coming weeks, spoilers indicate that Dylan will lean into the victim role to make Electra look like an irrational, jealous socialite. For the Forresters, Dylan represents a moral dilemma. How do you kick out a homeless woman who helped bring closure to a family tragedy? Dylan knows this, and she is using that guilt as a shield to stay exactly where she wants to be, right in the center of their world.